So I have a question here from a parent who says that they want to enroll their son into martial arts or some sort of martial arts. What do you suggest? The idea is to get help with anger management and an outlet to develop discipline. I'm thinking maybe a year or two. We've done Taekwondo for a while, a few years back. So what are some suggestions that you have? Instead of me personally just answering this question, I figured let me go ahead and reach out to a few folks that I know who have a lot more experience in dealing with kids.
This is Shihan, Ehab, Ahmed with Samurai Karate.
My name is Felix Robles. I'm an 8th degree Judo and 8th degree in Aikido, and I'm purple belt at BJJ.
My name is Ulpiano Malachias. I'm 3rd degree black belt under Master Carlos Gracie.
What the true essence of martial arts or karate is building character. As a matter of fact, your child will be a lot calmer. Your child will learn to control their emotions and their actions.
First thing, it gives them confidence and also stability in their life. Good to start them young, you know, teaching them. It gives them what is it, that word I'm trying to think of, a reassurance that, you know, they can, you know, handle themselves.
If I do martial arts since I'm 4 years old, you know, so I truly believe that everything in life is about competition. So this is something that we can put the kids to create the competition mindset since they're young. You know, the contact sport is always competitive, and I think that brings out to the kid that confidence, and then not just help them as on a training, but actually help them as in a person, because everything in life is about competition. You're better than the other person, you got a better job, you got a better.
What we teach in karate, as a matter of fact, these are the karate rules that we live by. Be humble and polite, be honest, listen to your parents and teachers, respect and honor yourself, take care of your health, and follow all the rules 1, 2, 5. So the true essence of karate is not about punching and kicking, it's about building the character, which that would reflect in your child's life in school. Your child becomes more disciplined, your child becomes more responsible, your child will have the capability of handling stress rather than throwing tantrums and hurting others.
You see a lot of schools doing karate, which is excellent for young kids because they're flexible, they can move, kick, punch, and all that good stuff. Also, another good art is Judo. They start them at 5, 6, 7, and on up. And Judo is also good for them too. It's takedown, throws, and it just gives them the ability to stand up to somebody that, bigger than them or tries to intimidate them. You know, you can overpower them very easy with a foot sweep or a kick or something like that. Or if they're doing karate or a punch or a kick, all the same. So it's excellent for kids to start off.
What kind of timeline are we looking at, especially with kids? Like, should they expect to put their kids in it for them to, you know, learn these?
Okay, well, you know, good things take a little while to happen. Don't expect to put your child in classes and by next weekend my child is going to master all the good things. No.
So we start teach actually at 3 years old. So if you ask me, I'm suspicious to say, I'm going to say train the whole life, you know, but my own kid doesn't train. You know, my kid trained for 2 years and now she stops, she don't train. Now she's doing wrestling, you know.
So I like to start them a little bit older so they can see and start seeing other people, what they're doing, and get excited. Take them there, have them sit and watch, you know, little kids kicking and punching in karate or in Judo, you know, if you see a school in Judo. But other than that, I'd say between 8. I took my grandson at 8 years old. He liked it. He liked it up until about 10. And then he started noticing little girls, and then that, from there it just varied off. So, but if you can keep him in there, it's perfect. Yeah.
It takes an entire village to raise one child. So what we do here in class, what you do at home, what happens to the child at their school, all comes together to build that child. To answer that question, and I guess in a more realistic and clear way, it does take time. Time frame, it depends on the ability of the child to receive information and to access information and to apply this information in real life?
I'd say the timeline is good between, I want to say between 8 to about 15, if you can keep them in there that long. If you can start sooner, it's even better. If you can start them at 4 or 5. Now, sometimes little kids that young are wander off. You know, they don't, this is not for me. They'll wander off. They don't want to do it. And that's natural, okay?
We have kids here, they're not kids anymore. They've come to us when they were as little as 4 or 5 year olds, and now they are actually helping me teach on the mats. I would say an average, give or take, it takes about anywhere between a year or two. And once again, it all depends on the kid's or child's ability to access and receive information.
It's number one, don't force the kids. If they don't want to do it, don't do it. But actually, I think you should encourage your kids to try it and try to say positive things to encourage them to actually enjoy and have fun while they train, you know?
I tell all parents, karate is a way of life. It's something that you plan to put your child in for the rest of their lives because it's a way of life.
And in Brazil, as most of foreign countries, you know, you don't have that much access to money. So your kids doesn't do 10 activities like American people do, you know. So over there you stick with one and usually you do that one, whatever. Your mom says, now you start, you gotta go all the way to the black belt. So I can't say how long they should do it, but I totally, I believe this is not a seasonal sport. This is a sport for all year long, you know. So I believe that they can do all year long, and we have kids here. They train with us for 7 years, 8 years already. So I don't know. I think it's not just training; it's a lifestyle. If the kid embraces at a young age, they might going to live this lifestyle for the rest of their life.
All right, thanks, Professor. Okay. Thanks, Shihan. Appreciate it.
Okay, sure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The only thing I would add in terms of just from my own experience growing up as a kid, I remember one piece of advice that, my dad had kind of put out there, and this was also a point in my own personal development when I was in high school. By this time, I've already been training in martial arts maybe 9 or 10 years, and I was on the football team, and it got to a point where both my football coach and my sensei were both saying, hey, you're gonna have to make a choice. Now, growing up as a kid, my dad put me in, baseball, soccer, basketball, and I also wanted to try out these different sports. Now, but there was always kind of like this implied condition that whatever sport you want to do, you're just not going to quit karate. And I think part of it had to do with the fact that they've already invested so many years, plus all these other sports, as fun as they might be, there's a lot of lifelong value that comes from training in and continuing to train in the martial arts, even as an adult, especially as an adult. In fact, I value my martial arts education in training now more than ever as an adult than I did growing up as a kid. Granted, it gave me confidence and whatnot. But it's one of those things where one thing that Professor Ulpiano mentioned is that, don't force your kid. But at the same time, although I've always wanted to go to martial arts as a kid, in fact, and part of my encouragement, so before even my dad suggested it, in fact, I wanted to go, it was part of Ninja Turtles and Power Rangers and so on. So, and just the whole Kung Fu movie culture that would exist in the media. So, and these were my motivations. So I guess it's a combination of my desire coupled with my parents' ensuring that I make it to class and ultimately get my black belt. And then after that, it was really up to me. I was an adult, and then I chose to continue my training and so on. So that was my thing in terms of how much time, just from my own experience, if it was my kid, I'd make it a point that they know how to defend themselves, and I would do that, and I would look at that to see how well they perform in a pressure test. Typically, the best example of that's also safe and controlled is a tournament, right? And I'm talking about a mixed style of martial arts tournament, whether it be grappling or striking or takedowns. Essentially, in my case, I had the opportunity of studying karate with a mix of a little bit of Muay Thai and wrestling and Jiu-Jitsu. And now for me, I realized my weak point in my own personal development in martial arts training was the jiu-jitsu part itself and the ground game. And so that's why as an adult, I've decided to further develop that and at least dedicate the next decade to continue to train in that, hopefully, and get very strong and adept in that. And again, that's me personally, but that is a decision that I was able to get to as an adult, having had the training as a training martial arts as a kid because of the gift that my parents gave me in that regard. So, but hopefully the advice that these Shihans and professors gave are of value to you. If you have any other questions, let me know in the comments below. I'll see you soon.